When Michael arrived at the park, Alan sprang out of nowhere and head-butted him to the ground, where the thugs began kicking his head as if it were a ball. What causes someone to become a cold-blooded killer? This is a subject that psychologists have been asking about for years and are still not close to answering, such as why 3 teenagers would kill each other. Michael Moss was born in Liverpool, England, on December 22, 1983. Despite not being an academic, he had a normal childhood. He loved sports and soccer, motorcycles, auto racing, and friends. Michael was a mechanical genius who could disassemble and reassemble a bike in seconds. Michael adored his father, whom he saw as his idol. But when Michael was 11 years old, his father died in a vehicle accident. Brain bleed. Michael was horrified. His world flipped upside down. He became pretty disruptive at school and at home. He was expelled from school and enrolled in Pinefield Center, a particular school for troublesome adolescents. Michael began running away and skipping school after a few weeks, according to his mother. Michael was placed in a children's home to help him cope with his grief. Michael was making friends, and everything appeared to be going well until he met the 3 boys who would murder him in 1999. Alan Bentley and Mark McCaffrey were dismissed from school for attacking another student. However, the event was never reported to the police. Michael knew the boys and attempted to get out of their way, but fate had other ideas. He threatened in a message to Michael, "Tell Moss, I'm going to kill him when I see him, I'm going to boot his head in." Graham Neary, a 3rd boy, had just joined the school. Unlike Alan and Mark, Graham was not violent. On November 12, 1999, Neary asked his pals around to celebrate Alan's birthday. After drinking too much vodka and watching Quentin Tarantino's Reservoir Dogs, Graham passed out at about 1 a.m. and was transported to the hospital. When Michael got the call at 1 a.m., he innocently agreed to meet up with the boys at a local park, not knowing what they had planned for him. When Michael got to the park, Alan jumped out of nowhere and head-butted him to the ground. Not content with that, these sadists began scratching X's and O's on Michael's back, playing knots and crosses or tic-tac-toe with his body. I'm not sure why someone would do that after a game of notes and crosses. To scratch the playground game of notes and crosses, Alan chose to reenact his favorite film scene after 2 hours of suffering. A broken bottle was used to cut Michael's ears while singing "Stuck in the Middle" with you around 3 a.m. on November 13th. The Reservoir Dog killing became infamous. However, later that morning, at 7:30 a.m., a man walking his dog in the park reported witnessing something peculiar. To his surprise, he discovered the naked body of a young child, covered with bruises. When he realized the youngster was gone, he phoned the cops. Meanwhile, the staff at Michael's children's home were worried. People from the children's homes were urgently seeking him. They called the cops to report him missing when they couldn't find him, despite the park's corpse being horrifically mutilated. A photograph was given of who they thought it may be, which they had. It was a full facial portrait of a small boy named Michael Moss. The senior investigating officer held it right near Michael's body. Because of the photograph they had, and the state of the body, they thought it was Michael. Michael had over 100 injuries, including 10 cracked ribs and multiple fractures to the bones in his body. When the police called Michael's mother to tell her what had happened to her son, she went insane with grief and refused to listen to anything about the atrocity. All of the evidence pointed to the 3 boys as the offenders when the inquiry began. Soon after, Graham, undoubtedly troubled by what he had done, handed himself in after confessing to his mother, naming Alan and Mark as his collaborators. Graham told cops that he met Alan and Mark a few weeks before the attack, and that Alan told him about his problems with Michael dating his ex-girlfriend. Graham claimed that he did not have a problem with Michael and even tried to be friends with him, but that Michael was not interested because he didn't like Alan. Mark said that he passed out from drinking on the day of the attack and didn't know what the other 2 boys were planning. He said that he only came to find out what was going on when the 2 boys arrived. Mark then rushed over to Michael's and threatened to smash his face in if he didn't get up. Michael struggled to get up but fell back to the ground when the torture began. Graham admitted to the police that he had also participated in the attack but said he didn't know what he was doing. Alan and Mark were soon arrested and brought in for questioning. As you might expect in such cases, the 2 turned on each other, trying to make themselves appear innocent. Mark wanted to make it look like Alan acted alone. Still on his side, Alan said they worked together. At some point, Mark walked away. When things started getting out of hand, it was established that another boy was also at the scene. Still, he reportedly walked away. When things started getting out of writing, it was found that another boy was also at the scene. Reportedly, Michael's mother was horrified and outraged to hear that her son's murderers were actually a group of adolescent males who had gone to school together. In school, I couldn't believe they were just 15. Therefore, you were it. Why would they do that to my son? The three lads face murder charges. In one of the largest juvenile cases tried at Liverpool Crown Court English trials. Michael had ordered them to attack him so he could sue for criminal reparation, which they could split and use to buy a motorcycle, they claimed. The unlawful compensation program compensates victims of violent crimes in the UK. On July 26, 2000, the jury found Alan and Mark guilty unanimously. Graham was also found guilty by a 10-2 vote on the same day. While Alan and Mark showed no remorse when convicted, Graham sobbed as his sentence was read. His mom tried to console him. Alan and Mark received life sentences with the possibility of parole after 10 years, while Graham received a 9-year minimum sentence. Michael's mother tried valiantly to keep the boys in prison for a more extended period. Still, her efforts were in vain because the boys were released after completing their minimum sentences. Alan, the tormentor, was paroled in 2012 after 10 years. Michael's mother pleaded with the parole board not to release him too quickly during his parole hearing. I experience flashbacks of what happened to Michael every day of my life. I feel like I can't leave my house because I'm terrified of looking at objects and settings that remind me of what happened to Michael. I can't walk past a park or a playground without imagining torment. I imagine Michael naked on a field as I watch my precious boy being tortured. Then, on a chilly November night, I lapse into a trance and can't hear others, but I hear Michael scream. Mom, Mom, Mom. She also developed a phobia of breaking glasses, which prompted her to shake violently. She informed the board that Alan's little prison sentence paled compared to his lifetime of suffering. The board declined her plea for Alan to be sentenced to more time in jail, arguing that once a life sentence prisoner has fulfilled their minimum tariff, the court considers them suitably punished. It is left to the board to exercise discretion. Despite this horrific crime, Alan only served a little over 10 years in prison, and was released at the age of 28. Is there any guarantee he won't be doing something gruesome again? What do you think about this case? Let me know in the comments section below. And don't forget to like and subscribe for more. Thanks for watching.